Welcome to Can TV 21 Hotline. Let's Talk Etiquette. My name is Nathan Wright, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Etiquette. You can join us by calling us at 312-738-1060. I'm going to give that number again. 312-738-1060. Please call us. We're very excited to be back on air, and we're going to have a great series of shows. But first, let me introduce my very special co-host, Miss Georgia Selman, etiquette maven extraordinaire. How else can I describe you? I'm just so pleased to be here with you for this great run for our 13-week series.
And I as well. I am so excited that you're giving me another opportunity to be on your show and to assist in hosting with a title.
Yes.
Co-host.
Yes. Co-host, yes. Well, as you well know, we did several shows last year.
Yes.
Which were just really outstanding shows. We had so much feedback from your contribution to this program. And so I'm extremely pleased to be here and to have you here as my co-host.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Yes. So what are we going to do? We're going to talk about etiquette.
Yes.
And this wonderful dynamic subject that really impacts every human being. Every intelligent, thinking human being is impacted by etiquette. And we have rules of conduct that every human being should adhere to. But unfortunately, we're not really adhering to it at the level we should be adhering to it. So this particular subject for this first day is going to be a very interesting subject, because what we want to do, we want to look back and look forward. And we think that's a great new show type topic to start with, 2017, looking back and then looking forward. Now, of course, last year we had a whole series of things we did, subjects we covered, and fundamentally, we think we had a great run last year. We covered so many important subjects. We had so many wonderful people like yourself out there calling in and weighing in and giving your opinion. We took on this great challenge about Stop the Violence, Teach Etiquette.
Yes.
And we really took that to the streets. If you want to look at taking it to the street, that's what we did with that subject. And I think, seriously, we had an impact. We had an impact on people's behavior last year. And so we want to continue that theme, that campaign, going into this year, 2017. And as you can tell, it's getting warmer a lot early in the year. And we want to get this message out there to the community, to our political leaders, so that we can work together.
Yes.
And teach this great subject. And in fact, we're doing that, you and I.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely. We're doing that as we speak. And maybe we can tell them a little about our program, what we're doing out in the Southland, in a high school, with young people who have been suspended. But they're not kicked out of school entirely. They are going to a special school. And guess what? We have been invited to work with them, to teach them how to behave. Sounds simple, doesn't it?
I tell you, it initially was a real challenge, and I can truthfully say that it's getting easier and it's getting easier because they are becoming very receptive.
Yes, they are.
And that makes the job a lot easier when people or our students buy into the information that we have for them. In the beginning, I tell you, it was rugged, it was rough, and it was like, do you really need to be here, Georgia? Right. Did you retire for this? Or, what is your real purpose?
Yes.
And as we stayed the course,
yes.
And as we presented the information, our students are beginning to buy into it. They're beginning to appreciate it. They're beginning to honor the information.
Yes.
And I tell you, it's like you have to see it to actually to appreciate and believe it. Yes.
Yes. Well, these kids here were kicked out of the regular school for fighting, for cursing, for disrespecting the teacher. The same basic things we see happening all over the country. This is not just in the Chicago area. Disrespecting the teachers and disrespecting one another is a common thing, unfortunately. And fights occur every day in our schools.
Yes.
And you can go on YouTube. You don't have to go far to see it. You can go on Google student fighting YouTube. And
It's glorified.
It's glorified.
And it's glorified. It's
Yes.
something that young people are doing, and for some strange reason, they're happy to be behaving in this manner.
Yes. And
And-
videotaping it and making a record of it so they can look at it later and see how they were behaving, like it's something to celebrate. You're right.
So the whole concept of etiquette and what we are promoting, we've taken this into this particular school, and as I said in the beginning, it was not well received by the young people because they didn't want to hear about having proper behavior
No.
or acceptable behavior.
No.
And they didn't want to hear about respect.
No.
They didn't want to hear about all of the disciplines that's built into this wonderful etiquette concept.
Yes. No.
They wanted to reject it.
Right. Yes.
And they didn't want to hear about the importance of having acceptable behavior.
Right. Yes. Yes. And in fact, when I first mentioned, well, let me start from the beginning. My good friend, the superintendent, called me and invited me to lunch. You know, you get an invitation from the superintendent to go to lunch, and this was one of the most posh dining rooms on the south side. Okay. And I said, "Sir, I'll join you for lunch." And then, so we met for lunch, and he said, "I need your help." And I said, "Oh, okay. Would you please come to my school and work with my alternative kids?" I said, "Wonderful. I'll be more than happy to do that because I don't know how to turn down an opportunity, right, to teach anyone this subject."
Absolutely.
Okay? I couldn't say no, so I said, "Absolutely." So he said, "Put me a proposal together and get it to me as soon as you can." I said, "Okay." So what did I do? I called Miss Selman up. I said, "We got a project. I want you to work with me on it." She said, "Oh, I'll be more than happy to do so." I said, "What is it?" I said, "We're going to be working with the alternative kids." She said, "I don't know. I don't think so." I said, "It's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. We're going to handle them." And so she finally agreed to do that. And unfortunately, the second day we were there, there was a fight in the classroom. One kid threw a pop can at the other one, and they was all on the floor before we knew it. But you stayed to the course, and I appreciate that. You didn't say, "That's it.
Well, you
I'm
know,
out of here."
we have to we all have a purpose in life.
Yes.
And I've been working my entire career working with youth.
Yes.
And I have a passion for helping them. I love to see them grow.
Yes.
And it takes a village. Though I'm retired,
Right.
but I'm busier now than I was when I was working.
Right.
And when you see these young people in the beginning, and to see how their frame of thinking is so laid back and so nonchalant and so blasé, and life is just,
Whatever,
I'm just
whatever.
in it.
I'm just here.
And then when you present something as valuable as etiquette training, the concept and what it means to have good etiquette, what it means to have good civility, and how it can impact their immediate and future life, and to see them grab hold to it
Right.
and say, "Wow, okay, well maybe you're making a
Maybe.
little sense, maybe this is," and then to see them, the transformation that
Yes.
we've seen
We see.
is just,
Started in January.
yes, it's so worth it. I wouldn't trade it And I can go on and on
Yes.
with this program
Yes.
forever.
Yes, yes. And this was a test. We're looking for these kind of tests. I invite the audience to call us. We want to take on the toughest kids in the country because we know if you have the right message for them,
Yes.
you have the right program for them, then they'll buy into this. We've gone to the juvenile department right over here on Roosevelt Road, turned those kids around in 2 sessions. They were crying.
Yes.
The girls were crying, said they need this so bad. Please come back. But we weren't invited back. I think they saw the impact that we were going to have on these kids, and I don't know why they didn't want us back. But anyway,
Well, a lot of times it's due to not having the fundings, not having the
could
funds.
be. It could be. That's what they said.
You want to believe that the different entities that we work with, have a legitimate reason for not being as receptive as we would like for them to be.
That's true.
And we have to keep in mind that the educational communities, they're mandated to do specifics.
Yes.
Okay? And a lot of times they don't have the resources to go out of their entity and invite others in. We're just fortunate, and the children are really blessed and fortunate to have an institution that's receptive
Yes.
to what we bring and
Yes.
what we can bring to the table and what we
Yes.
can bring to their students.
Yes.
And I tell you, you have to see it to believe it.
You really have to see it to
To
really
believe it.
Yeah, that is so true. And there are funding issues. They've been cutting budgets all over the state and all over the country. We are really suffering from that side of the fence. The funding for our schools is being cut. They're talking about closing them early. And I mean, it's unbelievable that we would be at this time in our history, in this condition, in this great country that we live in. But the key to what we do is not really that complicated, and of course you know the lessons very well, but it's a matter of letting our children know that there are a set of rules that you have to learn to participate in society. The society is rule-based. Everything is based on rules.
Absolutely.
If you're playing basketball, we try to simplify it by talking about sports. If you're playing basketball, you have to learn the rules, and then you have to respect the game. And then with practice, you may be able to be a great player. And that's what you have to accept as being part of the basketball team. You have to respect the coach. You have to listen. You have to show up on time. You have to do all those things to show that you're interested in this game and participating. Well, society is the same way.
Absolutely.
And then when we tell them that, there's no difference in the two. You have rules of the road. You have rules of everything is based on rules.
And you have rules in your home.
Yes.
And when we bring it to with those kinds of simple, plain examples, then that's when we get their attention.
Yes.
That's when they want to hear more.
Yes.
And you walk into the classroom, and the first thing you see, the first thing that I noticed when I walked into this classroom, this alternative classroom, I see a list of rules.
Right.
They're huge of rules of how they're expecting these students to behave.
Yes.
So we start from there.
Yes.
We use the basketball as an example. Mr. Wright loved to use the basketball, the rules to basketball playing.
Yeah.
And then we say, let's take the simplest rules, the rules that's in your home.
Yes.
Or let's take it to that next level. Most of these students eventually want to drive. They're all 15 and up. 16, you can get your permit to drive. There are rules of the road. So that's what etiquette is all about. It's about a behavior that's rule-based.
Rule-based. And it's really simple because once you learn the rule, you know what the next person is, what you can anticipate from the next person, whether it's someone you know or whether it's a stranger. There are public etiquette rules. When I'm in public, there are rules that you may not ever see me again, but if I'm adhering to those rules, then we communicate that to each other. And so it's a matter of them understanding that and then teaching and requiring them to learn those rules. And when they learn the rules, You should see these young people, and we only been with them a little, what, 3 months maybe?
Yes.
You know, and there's a world of difference in those
A
young people.
world of difference.
In those young people. And what we're doing, we want to teach them how to be employed. We want them to learn the skills necessary to be employed, because most of your life is going to be working somewhere, doing something
Exactly.
for a living, to earn a living. So employment is a key part of what we're teaching these young men and women, and they are connecting with it, adhering to it, and just loving every minute. They are excited when we come to class.
As a matter of fact, they're very motivated because most of them are at least 15 up and up. And they are at the age where they can get work permits if they're 15. And if they're 16, they don't need a work permit. And we clearly told them, when I was your age, I was working. I was taking public transportation, and I went to work every day after school. And they all, each and every one of those students, I think there's only one in the class that has a job. And
Right,
the rest of
right.
them desire a job.
Yes.
And one of the selling tools that we use, if you want to work. Oh, here's a
Yes.
caller.
Yes. Caller?
Yes, and number one is very glad to see y'all two guys back again this year.
Steve.
Yes, it is. You know, I was just listening to some of the things that you were saying,
Yes.
and sometimes in life, things changes. Everything changes. Nothing stays the same.
Nothing.
Even in teaching, it's not like it was maybe when I was in school. You know, each curriculum is taught differently, and we dealing with some children that not too up on rules, but you could input rules into your curriculum and they will like it. You know, you just got to find a way to individually correct that, try to institute that. Sometimes it might just take a smile or
Yes.
a little joke or I don't know, something, but you will know your children more than per se some of them parents. So again, you know, it's just putting something in a little bit different, I think, that help
Yes.
these children now. Social media is the worst thing that ever came upon life. You know, it's so sad. If it was left up to me, I would ban all social media, Facebook and all that tweaking and twicking and all that mess. I would just get rid of it. You know, when we was young, the computers was the thing of the future. It's going to take the place of humans. Well, listen, please do not take humans away. You know, sometimes let's forget the computers. I love writing stamps, so I would like the bank to pay my thing. But that's another story. But again, I'm so glad to see y'all guys back.
Thank you.
And I hope more people this year will listen more to y'all guys.
Okay.
And I don't want to hog the show because I love to talk. So listen, let me get out
Glad
there.
to hear
Thanks
from
for
you.
taking the call, and let me hear your response.
Yes.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Steve. Glad you were listening and called our show. We were hoping that Steve called. So we really appreciate your call, believe me. So continue to do that. We'll be on for another 12 weeks, so you have the opportunity to call in. We look forward to it.
Steve, can I just make a comment to your suggestion? One of the things that I've noticed since I've been going into the schools, I do substitute. I'm a guest teacher in some of the suburban schools, and one of the things that I've noticed going into the different schools, there's a curriculum. There's a specific a curriculum that the schools are mandated to teach, and there's so little time in the day to try to incorporate something other than the subject matter. And that's one of the things that I'm seeing. But very basic things that the teachers can make sure that they instill and make sure that they influence are the simple courtesies. When you give a student an assignment, expect for them to say thank you. Encourage them to say thank you. If they pass a test, or if they're helping another student, teach them the basic. If they can just remember
So
to
important.
teach the basics,
Yeah, so important.
courtesies, excuse me, if Johnny shoves up against another student, then he's to say, "Excuse me," or "I'm sorry." These are the basic etiquette things that can be easily incorporated into any. Here's another caller.
Yes. Wow. Caller, you have to make it quick. We're
Yeah,
getting
I'm
ready
gonna
to go
make
off
this real
there.
quick. You know what it is? It depends where you at. The most basic thing about knowledge about anything with children, it starts at home. If they're not being helped at home, then
Yes.
they all have to rely to the teachers. And that's where the problem lies. So that's
Yeah.
why I said it's a different method sometimes that you have to teach. You know, you the teacher, you the father, you the mother, you
Yes.
the friend, you are everything to
Yes.
that
Yes.
person. And that's why I say different ways, different manners. But
Yes.
again, that's just my thought. Now,
No, that's
again, let me
great.
get
That's
out there.
great.
Thank you.
We thank you,
Appreciate it.
Steve.
As a matter of fact, we agree with you.
Yes, and we have a parent etiquette training program to teach parents how to teach their children etiquette, manners, and morals. So we are doing that, and in fact, we did a school, last week. We were invited out to do a parent workshop on that subject. So we are doing that as well, Steve. So we want to continue to do that. And for anyone you know, please recommend us. We have an entire curriculum for those parents. We'll give them the lessons they need to know and learn and practice with their own children, and it does work. It's very, very effective.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know, was that our signal that we are nearing the end of the show? But if not, I want to quickly mention some of the things we're going to be doing this year coming. We're going to continue with our program on Stop the Violence, Teach Etiquette. We're going to try to do a real campaign in the community, a billboard campaign, to get some sponsors to put up some billboards on this subject. We're going to continue to we're going to continue to reach out to the police superintendent, to the mayor, and let them know that we want to participate in whatever they have planned for this summer. We want to even reach out to the president. He says he's going to do some things here in Chicago, then we want to be included in that. So we're going to be very busy, and we will continue to talk about the things we're going to do going forward, looking back, going forward into 2017. But we do appreciate your participation in watching our show. Would you like to have a final word, Ms. Selman?
Well, I just want to encourage people to continue to stay tuned to our program, and please feel free to call in. We're very receptive to your thoughts and ideas and suggestions, and continue to watch us on every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Is it 7 o'clock?
7:30.
7:30.
Yes.
Excuse me. And we're glad to be here.
Yes.
We're glad to be back.
Yes. And that's our number there, 312-473-2942. Please call us. That's our website, our email. Please give us a call, and we look forward to next Wednesday. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
tuning us in.
Yes.
Good night.
Good night.